On this edition of our local history feature that we call Talking Over Old Times, I thought it might be interesting to quote from some of the early settlers about some of their experiences. I'm Don Trosper, Public History Manager with Heritage Builders here at the Olympia Tumwater Foundation, and I've picked the year 1853. What was life like back then? Well, according to Georgiana Percival Ford, the principal amusement was horseback riding. One thing that stuck in her memory were the many native Indians that lived along the Sound at Olympia and Tumwater. Mrs. David Beatty also had a vivid memory of the local Indians at that time. She was 16 years old when she and her family passed through Tumwater for the first time. She described that memorable moment this way. When we reached Tumwater, Judge Yantis, who was always full of his fun and jokes, took Sarah, his daughter, and me to visit an Indian camp to see what he told us would be our eatables from now on. They had just finished drying and hanging up a string of gooey ducks. The long necks and scaly-looking bodies of this new species of saltwater products did not look inviting." End quote. Marietta Sprague Gelbach had her story to tell about Tumwater too. To quote her, "A little schoolhouse was built on the hill, which served for both school and church. A romantic story was told to me by early pioneers concerning the bell that hung in the little belfry. On one of Captain Crosby's sailing trips, he heard the bell ringing when passing near an uninhabited island. It appeared so mysterious that he lowered a boat and rowed ashore. He discovered the wreck of a ship, and her bell had been left hanging in such a manner that the strong wind blowing rang the bell. He took it home and gave it to the Tumwater School District, where its clear tones called several generations to school." In the 1850s, overland mail could come all the way from St. Louis to Tumwater in about 24 days. The mail brought much distressing news about the possible secession and civil war back in the States. Here in the territories, the news was more positive, partly because the area was growing, both in population and economy. There was talk of the Northern Pacific Railroad coming to the Sound and a gold strike in the Fraser River. One newspaper quote was from Christopher Columbus Simmons, the first white American child born north of the Columbia. He said, "I've always been poor in this world's goods, and I'm glad of it. There's much less danger of being robbed." Out on the Bush Farm south of Tumwater in 1853, it was reported that a tiger was caught weighing over 200 pounds by the boys on Mr. Bush's farm. The tiger was one of the many names given to the cougars who prowled the area from time to time in those early days. It was a wild country in what is now a growing city.